Friendship Day on the second Sunday of August every year. This year, a lot of us celebrated this day virtually. Friends are very important people in everyone's lives. They spend time with you, play with you, help you out, teach you something new, or just support you silently. But you know something interesting? You can have friends of all ages. In fact, my best friend is my grandmother, who is 62 years old, and my mom and aunt, who grew up in the army, have to make new friends every 2 years. To all of you that are listening to my show and encouraging me, thank you and happy Friendship Day. Let's get started with some good news. The first news is from Taiwan. We all know that air travel is suspended in many countries due to the ongoing pandemic. But Eva Air introduced special flights to nowhere on their popular Hello Kitty Dream Jet as a part of the Father's Day celebrations. The entire trip takes 3 hours and passengers circle the skies around Taipei's Taoyuan Airport. And if the skies are clear, they can see many islands around the mainland. Continuing with the theme of travel, an island off the coast of Cape Cod opened up to the public for the first time in 300 years. The island was privately owned since 1711 and is located in an area known as Pleasant Bay. And visitors can enjoy hiking, sandy beaches, snorkeling, and a 360-degree views of the entire Pleasant Bay area. I have always been inspired by the stories that my grandfather tells me about the army. This week, women soldiers from the Assam Rifles were deployed along the line of control in Kashmir for the first time. They belong to a unit called the Riflewomen, a part of the Assam Rifles, the oldest paramilitary forces in India. The locals welcomed the women with a lot of warmth. Finally, a restaurant in Jodhpur is trying to entertain its guests with 2 novel dishes on its menu, the COVID curry and the mask naan. The curry has kofta balls that are in the shape of the spiky virus, and the naan looks like a mask. The dish also has some immunity-building spices. Guests are amused at the dish but also love the taste of it. That is all for this week's good news. This is Wow History. On August 1st, 1936, the Summer Olympics opened in Berlin, Germany. On August 4th, 1961, Barack Obama, the 44th President of the USA, was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. On August 5th, 2011, Thai businesswoman and politician Yingluck Shinawatra was elected Prime Minister of Thailand, becoming the first woman to hold that post. On the same day in 1930, the first person to put foot on moon, Neil Armstrong, was born. On August 6, 1962, Jamaica became an independent nation within the Commonwealth nations after 300 years of British rule. You are still with me, Samarth, and now it's time for You Should Read, my brief review of a children's book that I loved reading and hope you will too. This week, I will be reviewing the book Charlotte's Web, written by E.B. White and illustrated by Garth Williams. In the year 2000, the book was listed as the best-selling children's paperback of all time by Publishers Weekly. This is a story about a girl called Fern, a little pig called Wilbur, and a spider called Charlotte. At the beginning of the story, Fern's father tries to kill Wilbur, who was born as the smallest pig in the litter. She saves him and takes care of him until he becomes too big. She then sells Wilbur to her uncle, who has a large farm with lots of animals. The animals don't welcome Wilbur, and at one point, the uncle decides to kill it for Christmas dinner. The story then goes on to show how Charlotte helps save Wilbur by writing messages that praise him and sticking them into her web. People from around the barn started visiting the pig as they consider the messages to be some divine interventions. Wilbur eventually gets saved, but Charlotte falls sick. The story has a nice message about friendship and at many times I felt like appreciating Charlotte for her presence of mind and dedication to saving her friend. I give this book a 5 out of 5 on story, 4 out of 5 on illustrations, 4 out of 5 on language, and overall a 4 out of 5. You can buy this book on Amazon or borrow it from your nearest library. It's now time for the most fun part of the show, Watch Well, where we discover some fun shows that our parents will be happy to let us watch. Continuing with the theme of friendship, this week I want to recommend the movie E.T. Extraterrestrial that was released in 1982. The movie became a huge hit and is about an alien called E.T. and a boy called Elliot and their friendship. E.T. visits the Earth along with a group of aliens as a part of a mission and gets left behind. He ends up in Elliot's backyard, and once Elliot discovers him, he tries to hide him from the rest of his family. The movie then takes us through multiple incidents between Elliot, his brother, sister, friends, and E.T., and how they started forming an emotional bond with each other. E.T. has special powers and learns to speak English. Towards the end, E.T. becomes ill and the movie ends with Elliot reuniting E.T. with his family. The movie helps us understand that some people may look or behave differently from others, but we should not make them feel bad or alone. True friendship is all about being with each other through good and bad times. I give this movie a 5 out of 5 on all aspects. It is available on Netflix. We are almost at the end of the show, and I want to leave you with a fun thing to do for your friends. How do you stay connected with friends during these times when we are not going to school or each other's house much? My neighbor and I started a fun thing to do. We stuck envelopes on each other's door and started writing letters to each other. Once a day, I would check the envelope and pick up the note after thoroughly sanitizing it. I would then write a reply on a paper and put it in the envelope that was on her door. If you have friends living in the same community or neighborhood, try this fun activity. I loved waiting for the letters, and it was great not to depend on my parents' phone to speak with my friends. That is all for this week, folks. Until next week, stay safe and Jai Hind from Kidasi.